Back, we back, we back, you know we back. Here we go again. So all week we are going to be doing two-a-days because you know what? You know what I mean? I'm just feeling hyped up. You know what I mean? I hope you are too. And part of the series that we're going to talk about this week, because you know, those world champion Eagles play on Thursday. So, we got to give a salute to them on Thursday. And just to all my football fans out there, that football is back starting on Thursday. But what I want to talk about really quick is something that, is near and dear to my heart and something that, I've had to learn. Because, I haven't been a parent for 15, 16, 17 years, none of that other kind of stuff. So I'm still kind of relatively young in being a parent, although I started a little bit late. But I thought about this, and I was going to do it a little while ago, but, being as though the kids are going back to school and everything and it's on my mind a lot, it's a little more apropos right now. And that's child recalibration. So, when we recalibrate, because I used to deal a lot with cars, you recalibrate this, you recalibrate the system, just different things on a car to get things back functioning right again. And over the summer, I did a lot of recalibrating of child, one of my little ladies. And a big part of it to me was the first thing, because before, my buddy Ray always gets on me about this, but before you give advice about something, you got to kind of take it in yourself. You got to kind of, and what I mean by take it in is that you got to feel it. You got to feel real life experience. You got to feel what's going on. Like I've said before, like I remember before I had kids, I would say, man, if my kid was acting out in that supermarket, I would yank them up. I would say, yo, I said, be quiet or we leaving out here right now. And I'll pop you in front of everybody. Until it started happening to me. And then, you're in the supermarket. You got these little ones running around and you're this big dude. And, people are looking at you, but they're looking at you say, well, what you going to do? And so I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm going to say, what did I say I was going to say I was going to do? I was going to say to him, look, you better stop it. I'm going to pop you. I would say, yo, listen, do me a favor, y'all. Can y'all chill out? If you don't chill out, you're not getting any candy. If you don't chill out, you're not this, you're not that. So you know what I learned how to do? You know what that taught me? Guess what? Very, very rarely do I take them in the supermarket with me. Because, hey, listen, if I don't have to deal with it, don't deal with it. So that was one way for me recalibrating myself and what I had to do with it. And you also, because although I'm talking about child recalibration, because working, I've worked as a case manager for the Northeast Treatment Centers, way back when, maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, worked with adjudicated youth coming in and out. Also did a little bit when I worked at the psych hospital, not much though, but I worked over there with the kids at the adjudicated youth, going in and out of juvie for about 7 years. So the first thing as far as recalibration from what I've seen is that you have to recalibrate yourself first. And as a parent, that's hard to do because you look at yourself and you think, well, my parents did this a certain way. These are the certain things that made me feel decent that I want to do. These are the certain things that, I'll never do that. Until you find yourself doing it. Or you look at another parent and you say, hey, look, man, they don't know what in the world they're doing. Or if I were them, this is what I would do. Until it's you. Now, most of us watching this have been parents, probably grandparents, maybe great-grandparents, right? But it still doesn't change the fact that to have a kid grow up in the hope that they can be the best person they can, you try to give them all the tools you can. You try to, if you can, pay for the better schools or the better schools. You try to, if you can, get them into as many extracurricular activities as possible. You try to be observant. You try to be patient. You try to be as vigilant and present as possible, even if you're like me, living out of two separate households. But you still try to make sure that you are doing the best job that you can do. The ones of us that happen to do that. And sometimes it still may not be enough. It may not be enough. So the recalibration starts with us first, because, you have to dig deep. Like even me, I'll give you some for instances. So what I had to do is that, and what I do with the girls is, guess what? And I got this, even though I've known it, but I got this from my buddies Brian and Shell. Hey, listen, screen time is down. Now, look, sometimes you know how it goes. You say an hour. Next thing you know, you might take a nap or something. They on there for a couple of hours. But what I did realize was that, there definitely needs to be a time when they are not on their phone. Now, one of the hardest parts, of course, is that when you live in one house, they live in another house. There's a different set of rules here than what you have here. And then bang, when they come back to you, there's what? There's chaos. There is this sense of, as I talk with my Aunt Gwen a lot about this, about retraining them to the ways in which you want to have them. And it happens on both sides. Sometimes men let the kids get away with everything. Sometimes the women let kids get away with everything. But a lot of times, the big thing is that even when you two talk about, hey, look, this is the way we're going to do it, there's always one person that just don't want to follow the rules. And I'm not talking about, how you say every now and then, I get it. We're all sleepy. We all fall asleep. One time I told the girls, hey, listen, bedtime, because it was the summer. Oh, we should be able to stay up. Such a bedtime is okay. I'll extend it to 12 o'clock. Well, guess what? At 11:30, I was asleep. And what woke me up at around 1:30, 2 o'clock was them laughing, playing Roblox. So, of course, I jump up, man, get off of there, such, go to bed. Now, was it their fault that I fell asleep? No. Was it my fault that I fell asleep? Well, I was sleepy. But still. So sometimes you will have these things, because guess what? There's no perfect parent. There's no perfect situation. There's no perfect children. But I tell you one thing, there can be much better communication. You see, a lot of times people will use all of these different words and everything to not practice child recalibration or child calibration to make sure you don't have to recalibrate. You'll have people, the phone is raising their child. And like I said, I get it. We all get tired. Sometimes you got a lot of single mothers. And the reason I say single mothers is because statistics say, especially in the black community, 80% of children are being raised in single mother households. And that typically means mom and grandma, mom and aunt, mom, grandma, possibly aunt, great grandma, everybody in the same house. But still, a lot falls on them. So you try to give them some grace and say, hey, I understand. You're working hard. You're doing whatever hard. You need to have a social life. You go out, you do you. We get it. But the kids can't suffer. The kids cannot be being raised by Roblox. I keep saying Robux because you got to buy the Robux. They can't be getting raised by Roblox. They can't be getting raised by YouTube. They can't be getting raised by kids' YouTube. I mean, because think about it. Like, think about us as adults. We're on the phone all the time, right? I know I'm on YouTube a lot. I barely even watch regular TV anymore. But we're on the phone a lot. So what do you think a little kid that's left to their own devices, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to be looking. They're going to be scheming. They're going to be figuring stuff out. I'll give you another funny little story. So little mama, 7 years old, is on Roblox. I can't get it right. Roblox. And it says something, it's and she's walking around. And so I notice, and this is why, for me, I'm glad I'm an older parent, because I'm more aware of, I've lived a lot of life, and I'm aware of a lot more things. And a lot of the stuff is not cute to me anymore. So on Roblox, you pick an avatar. So you pick the avatar out, and I noticed in one of the avatars, the kid, the avatar that she picked out looked like an adult, had a short skirt on, a very tight skirt on, had these big eyelashes that looked like the girl was going to fly away, and even had a little cleavage showing on a cartoon. And I started to think to myself, I wonder why would she want to dress this avatar this way? So I made her change the clothes on the avatar. So she changed them. Now she changes it to pants, tights. So now the little avatar is walking around, got basically a one piece on, and still looks too grown. And that's when I had to start saying, you know what? You're not going to be on this for long. You're not. And that's when I started to, and it happened earlier this summer. That's when I started to really, really pay attention. Because like I said, a lot of times, you might miss stuff, especially if it's two different households, you miss stuff. We get it. We understand. But we still got to try to do the best job that we can do. And the reason why I'm even saying this and bringing this up is that so we can all have awareness. So whether you're a parent out there, whether you're a grandparent out there, whether you're an aunt or an uncle raising another kid, to have a little more awareness. That these phones are not all good. That these tablets are not all good. That these kids are thinking that they're smarter than what they are. And they're plotting and coming up and doing other stuff. And a lot of times we don't even know. We don't even know. So, the one thing that I'm encouraging, as far as child recalibration, because we'll go deeper into other stuff, is that we got to check ourselves first. We got to see what we're doing first. And it's an ongoing thing. Like early on when I was, starting off my parenting journey, you think you know everything. You think you know a lot until you get punched in the mouth, as Mike Tyson used to say. You think you know everything. Everything seems like it's going according to plan until you get that first hit. And you realize, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? Because these little people, you love these little people to death. They're your heart. They remind you of you when you look at them. So it's hard, especially if you're a great loving parent, it's hard to be as hard on them as you want to be. Even though in times you have to be. So just in closing, think about it. Even if you got a kid, hey mom, hey dad, I'm dropping a kid off with you this weekend. And you're a grandparent, you've already done your job raising your child. But pay a little more attention to what they're doing. And not only pay more attention to what they're doing, do like my mom tells me. She points it out and says, hey, look, I'm not really feeling what they were doing on this phone. I had to take the phone from them. Because it needs to be a collective effort to try to get things better. I was watching something and Roblox is being sued because of some of the explicit things and different things of that nature that have come on, and how the kids are, in a sense, being programmed by it. It's also something else you can look up. So, but these are things that we have to start paying more attention to. Because if you ain't on top of the game, they're not going to wait around. Think about when you were a kid. Did you tell your mom or your dad, hey, look, you know what? Me and the homie about to go cut class. You know what I mean? We cutting. We in 10th grade now. We cutting. Did you tell them, oh, you know what? I'm sneaking home with my girlfriend to go, go to her mom's house in the basement because I know that nobody's home. You didn't tell them that, did you? So why you think they're going to tell you what's going on with these computers and stuff and this technology? But hey, not going to keep you any longer. It's just one guy's opinion. Let's get these kids recalibrated if they need it. And oh yeah, live life. Don't let life live you.